I was at a barbecue last summer when I realized something wild. I couldn't tell if the country playlist was actually country, pop, or rock with a southern accent. Every song had the same drum machine and talk singing about trucks. When did country music become a lifestyle brand commercial? Today, I'm taking you through 10 country songs that sound absolutely nothing like modern country radio. Songs that represent what the genre used to be. Weird, raw, heartbreaking, and uncompromisingly itself. These would probably get laughed out of a Nashville boardroom today. Number 10. Porter Wagoner, The Cold Hard Facts of Life, 1967.
I got back in town a day before.
Honestly, when's the last time you heard a murder ballad on country radio? Porter Wagoner was known for his rhinestone suits and his TV show, but this song is dark, man. It's a full-blown narrative about a guy who comes home early to surprise his wife with jewelry and champagne, only to find her with another man. And the way Porter tells it, with that matter-of-fact delivery, like he's reading a police report, is chilling. The brilliance of this song is in the details. Porter describes buying the gifts, planning the surprise, driving home with excitement. You feel his anticipation. Then the discovery, the confrontation, and the inevitable violent conclusion, all delivered with this eerie calmness that makes it even more disturbing. He's not screaming. He's not over-emoting. He's just telling you what happened, and somehow that restraint makes it more powerful than any dramatic vocal performance could.
I don't think I'll phone, I'll just head on home.
The instrumentation is pure Nashville sound. Strings, backing vocals, that smooth production. But the content? No modern country artist is touching this. We've sanitized country music to the point where the darkest it gets is, my girlfriend left me and I'm sad at a bar. Porter's giving you premeditated revenge served cold, and he's doing it with a smile in his voice. The juxtaposition between the polished production and the violent narrative creates this unsettling tension that modern country completely avoids. And here's the thing, murder ballads used to be a staple of country music. They were part of the Appalachian folk tradition that country grew out of. Songs like Knoxville Girl, Banks of the Ohio, and Pretty Polly were standards. They dealt with the dark side of human nature, with consequences, with moral complexity. That tradition has completely disappeared from mainstream country. We want our country music uplifting now, or at least safely sad. We don't want to be disturbed. What makes this sound nothing like today's music isn't just the story. It's the commitment to the narrative. This is almost 4 minutes of pure storytelling with verses that actually advance the plot. There's a beginning, middle, and end. Characters make decisions, events unfold, consequences happen. Modern country songs are structured like pop songs. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. They're designed for streaming, for TikTok clips, for radio edits. The chorus has to hit within 30 seconds. The whole song needs to be under 3 minutes. This song doesn't care about any of that. It's a short story set to music, and it takes the time it needs to tell that story right. Plus, that steel guitar in the background, you barely hear steel guitar on country radio anymore. It's been replaced by electric guitar with arena rock distortion, or, increasingly, by programmed synths. The steel guitar has this crying, sliding quality that's quintessentially country, and losing it means losing part of the genre's soul. When you hear that steel guitar weeping behind Porter's voice as he describes his discovery, it adds this layer of emotional depth that you just can't get from a power chord or a synth pad. Number 9, Dolly Parton, Down from Dover, 1970.
Doesn't hide the secret I tried concealing.
Speaking of dark, let's talk about Dolly. Everyone knows Dolly Parton. She's a national treasure, an icon, a saint. But early Dolly wasn't singing 9 to 5 and Jolene exclusively. She was writing songs like Down from Dover, which is about a teenage girl who gets pregnant, gets abandoned by her boyfriend, gets disowned by her parents, and then, spoiler alert, the baby is stillborn. Yeah, it's devastating. This was 1970, and Dolly was still establishing herself as a solo artist after years of duets with Porter Wagoner. She could have played it safe, could have stuck to love songs and upbeat numbers. Instead, She wrote this unflinching portrait of a girl's complete abandonment by everyone who should have protected her. The boy promises to come back from Dover, but never does. Her parents throw her out. She ends up alone in a boarding house, waiting for a future that will never come. Dolly sings it with this heartbreaking sincerity, and the production is minimal. Acoustic guitar, soft strings, her voice front and center. There's no bombast, no stadium drums, no moment where the song lifts into some empowering anthem. It just sits with you in the sadness. And that's the point. The song doesn't offer resolution or redemption. There's no, but she got stronger, or she found herself, or any of the narrative pivots we're trained to expect. It's just tragedy, witnessed and honored. Modern country is allergic to this kind of sadness. Sure, we get breakup songs, but they're either angry, I keyed your truck, I slashed your tires, or performatively sad with that very specific aesthetic. I'm drinking at a dive bar with the neon lights. But that performative sadness is different. It's sadness as atmosphere, as vibe, as backdrop for the singer to look cool and wounded. It's not this kind of quiet devastation. We don't get songs that tackle teenage pregnancy, stillbirth, or parental rejection with this level of emotional honesty anymore. These topics are too heavy, too uncomfortable, too real for a genre that's increasingly about escapism and lifestyle branding. And think about this. A major country artist today writing a song about a teenage girl dying in childbirth after being abandoned, the backlash would be immediate. People would accuse her of being depressing, of bringing down the vibe, of not being fun enough. Country music has become the genre of good times and party anthems. There's no room for this kind of sorrow. The other thing that makes the sound nothing like today? Dolly's voice. She's not doing vocal runs. She's not showing off her range. She's not trying to sound like she's auditioning for American Idol. She's just singing the story, letting the words do the work. Her voice cracks slightly in places, and those cracks are left in because they're honest, they're real. Modern country vocals are so polished, so produced, so focused on technical perfection that we've lost the raw emotional authenticity that made country music powerful. There's something almost sacred about the restraint in this performance. Dolly has one of the most powerful voices in music history, but she doesn't use all of it here. She holds back, sings softly, lets the vulnerability speak. That kind of artistic restraint, knowing when not to showcase your talent, is completely absent from modern country, where every vocal is pushed to its limit. Every note is held for maximum impact. Number 8, Marty Robbins, El Paso, 1959.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Marty Robbins recorded what's essentially a 4.5-minute Western movie, and it became one of the biggest country hits of all time. El Paso is a full narrative arc. A cowboy falls in love with a Mexican girl named Felina, kills a man in a jealous rage, flees to New Mexico, then rides back knowing he'll die just to see her one more time. It's got everything: romance, violence, redemption, death. The song was considered too long for radio. At 4 minutes and 37 seconds, it was nearly twice the length of a standard single. Radio programmers told Marty it would never work. He didn't care. He knew the story needed that time to breathe, to build, to take you on the journey. And he was right. It went to #1 on both country and pop charts, won a Grammy, and became one of the most iconic country songs ever recorded. The production is cinematic for 1959. The guitar work mimics galloping horses. The tempo shifts with the action, urgent during the escape, mournful during the death scene. There's a Tex-Mex influence in the melody that gives it authenticity. And Marty's voice has this earnest storytelling quality, like he's recounting something that actually happened. He commits fully to the drama without winking at the audience. What makes this sound nothing like modern country? First, it's a Western ballad, and that entire subgenre has been completely abandoned. Modern country has trucks and dirt roads, but it doesn't have cowboys and Mexican cantinas and gunfights. The mythology of the Old West that was so central to country music's identity has been replaced by the mythology of rural modern America. Tailgates and bonfires and back roads. We traded horses for pickup trucks and lost something in the process. Second, the song is unapologetically dramatic. The protagonist literally dies at the end, shot down in the street, cradled in Felina's arms. Modern country is afraid of this kind of earnest melodrama. Everything has to be ironic or tough or casual. Nobody's dying for love anymore. They're just moving on to the next relationship. Third, the length. You cannot get a 4.5-minute story song played on modern country radio. It doesn't fit the format. Songs need to be under 3 minutes, hooks need to hit in 30 seconds, and there's no patience for narrative development. El Paso takes almost a minute before Marty even starts singing the story. Modern country would cut that entirely. But here's what really separates this. It's pure storytelling craft. Marty wasn't trying to capture a vibe or sell a lifestyle. He was telling a story that needed to be told in the time it needed to be told, with the emotional commitment it deserved. That's artistry. That's what country music used to be, before it became content optimized for algorithms. Number 7, Bobbie Gentry, Ode to Billie Joe, 1967.
Was it 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty day?
Bobbie Gentry wrote and recorded what might be the most mysterious literary country song ever made. Ode to Billie Joe is a 4.5-minute masterclass in storytelling through what's not said. A family sits around a dinner table discussing the mundane details of their day, and casually mentions that Billie Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. The narrator knew him. Something happened between them. We never find out what. The genius of this song is in the restraint. Bobbie gives you fragments, details, implications, and lets you piece together the tragedy yourself. The family's casual reaction to Billie Joe's death, discussing crops and preacher's visits in the same breath, says everything about rural emotional repression, about how people process trauma by not processing it. And that central mystery, what did Billie Joe and the narrator throw off the bridge, has haunted listeners for decades? Bobbie never explained it. She understood that mystery is more powerful than answers. The production is hypnotic and minimal, strings that sound almost ominous, that repeating guitar figure that mimics the lazy flow of the river, and Bobbie's voice. Detached, almost numb, like she's recounting events she's still trying to understand. There's no chorus, no hook, no moment where the song opens up. It just unfolds, slowly, patiently, trusting you to stay engaged. What makes this sound nothing like modern country? Everything. First, it's Southern Gothic storytelling, dark, ambiguous, rooted in a specific place and culture. Modern country does nostalgia for rural life, but it doesn't do this kind of atmospheric literary examination of Southern psychology. We get small town Saturday night, but not, here's the darkness underneath small town civility. Second, the mystery. Modern country wants everything resolved, explained, tied up in a neat bow. Emotions are straightforward, happy, sad, angry, in love. This song is asking you to sit with ambiguity, with implication, with what's left unsaid. The narrator never tells you how she feels about Billie Joe's death. You have to infer it from the details. She can't eat. She's picking flowers. She's going to the bridge a year later. That kind of emotional subtlety doesn't exist in modern country. Third, it's a woman writing from a woman's perspective about a complex situation that may involve shame, sexuality, loss, or all three. And she's not explaining herself or seeking your approval. The song doesn't moralize, doesn't apologize, doesn't provide comfort. It just presents this moment and lets you grapple with it. Modern female country artists are often pushed to be either empowered and sassy or vulnerable and heartbroken. This song is neither. It's complicated. The other thing, Bobbie Gentry was a multi-instrumentalist who wrote, arranged, and produced her own music at a time when women in country were rarely given that kind of creative control. She had a vision and executed it perfectly, creating something that sounded like nothing else on country radio. Modern country doesn't reward that kind of artistic ambition from women, or men, honestly. It rewards people who can replicate what's already working. And that voice, conversational, southern, literate, sounds nothing like modern country vocals. She's not belting, not showing off, just telling you this story in this specific voice from this specific place. You believe she's from Mississippi. You believe she knew Billie Joe. That authenticity is impossible to fake and rare to find. Number 6, George Jones, He Stopped Loving Her Today, 1980. This is often called the greatest country song ever written, and for good reason. It's the ultimate heartbreak song about a man who loves a woman his entire life and only stops loving her when he dies. The narrative builds slowly, methodically, and the twist at the end, when you realize he stopped loving her today means he died. Hits like a truck. The genius of this song is in the accumulation of detail. We learn about this man's decades-long devotion, how he kept her picture, how he never moved on, how everyone thought he was pathetic or crazy for holding on to this love. The song treats his devotion with respect, even as it acknowledges the tragedy of it. And then that final verse where friends gather and she shows up dressed in black, and you suddenly understand what "stopped loving her today" actually means. It's devastating in a way that sneaks up on you. George Jones's voice on this is perfection. Every note is drenched in pain, in longing, in resignation. He's not singing at you, he's letting you witness his grief. There's a vulnerability in his delivery that's almost uncomfortable to hear, like you're intruding on something private. And the production, Billy Sherrill's orchestral Nashville sound, is lush but never overdone. The strings support the emotion without overwhelming it. They swell at the right moments, pull back when needed, create this cinematic atmosphere that makes the story even more powerful. What's remarkable is that George Jones himself was skeptical of this song at first. He thought it was too dark, too slow, too depressing. Billy Sherrill had to convince him to record it. Shows you how much the industry has changed. Now, an artist's first instinct would be proved right. Too depressing would kill a song before it ever got recorded. Compare this to modern country heartbreak songs, which are either angry, "You cheated, I'm moving on," the truck-destroying, property-damaging revenge fantasy, or self-empowering, "I'm better off without you," the triumphant independence anthem, or performatively sad for about 2 minutes before pivoting to, "But I'm good now." We don't do long-term devotion anymore. We don't do love that lasts beyond death. We don't do heartbreak that's this patient, this fully developed, this devastating. Modern heartbreak in country music has to resolve. There has to be growth, closure, a lesson learned, a silver lining. We're uncomfortable with unresolved grief, with love that never gets reciprocated, with devotion that some might consider wasted. This song doesn't offer any of that comfort. It just says, this man loved this woman until he died, and that's the story. No redemption arc, no personal growth, no moving on, just love and death. Modern country is optimized for short attention spans. Songs are 3 minutes or less. Hooks come in the first 30 seconds, and everything resolves quickly. He Stopped Loving Her Today takes its time. It trusts you to stay with it, to let the story unfold, to sit with the sadness. That kind of faith in the listener doesn't exist in commercial country anymore. The assumption now is that if you don't grab someone immediately, they'll skip to the next track. So everything is front-loaded, everything is immediate, everything is designed for the impatient consumption of the streaming era. Number 5, Waylon Jennings, Luckenbach, Texas, Back to the Basics of Love, 1977.
Let's go to Luckenbach, Texas, Waylon and Willie and the boy.
Waylon Jennings was the epitome of outlaw country, the movement that rejected the polished Nashville sound in favor of something rawer, rockier, and more authentic. And Luckenbach, Texas, is basically the mission statement. Let's get away from all the pretense, all the materialism, all the bullshit, and get back to basics, back to what actually matters. The song tells the story of a couple whose relationship is falling apart because they've gotten caught up in success, in keeping up appearances, in all the trappings of upward mobility. And Waylon's solution is simple. Go to Luckenbach, Texas, and remember who you used to be. It's a rejection of the rat race, of status anxiety, of trying to impress people you don't even like. The song name drops Waylon himself and Willie Nelson in the lyrics, which is such a casual, confident move. It's almost like breaking the fourth wall, acknowledging that this is a country song sung by country artists, about the values that country music used to represent. The vibe is loose, almost conversational, like Waylon's just sitting around with friends sharing this observation. The instrumentation is straightforward: guitars, bass, drums, piano. No strings, no overproduction, no studio tricks. Just a great song played by great musicians who know exactly what they're doing. What makes this sound nothing like today's country? Well, for one, it's actually about something. It's a critique of materialism and corporate culture, a plea to simplify and reconnect with what's real. Modern country songs about trucks and small towns and beer are nostalgic, sure, but they're not actually critiquing anything. They're selling you a lifestyle brand, not questioning why we need lifestyle brands in the first place. They're telling you to buy the right truck, drink the right beer, wear the right jeans, and you'll achieve some kind of authentic rural experience. That's the opposite of what this song is doing. Waylon's saying the simple life isn't a consumer choice. It's a rejection of consumer culture entirely. You can't buy your way to authenticity. You have to actually give up the things you think make you successful and reconnect with something real. That message would never fly in modern country, which is deeply intertwined with corporate sponsorships and lifestyle marketing. Also, the outlaw country movement was genuinely rebellious. These guys wore black, grew their hair long, fought with their labels, and made the music they wanted to make on their own terms. They took creative control, hired their own musicians, rejected Nashville's production formulas. They were actually threatening to the establishment. Modern country rebels are carefully managed by labels and marketing teams to be just rebellious enough to seem authentic without actually threatening anything. They'll sing about breaking rules, but they follow every industry rule perfectly. Real rebellion doesn't test well with focus groups, so we get this sanitized, approved version of rebellion that's really just another marketing angle. Waylon would have laughed at the idea that rebellion could be focus grouped and branded. That's exactly the kind of corporate thinking he was rebelling against. Number 4, Kris Kristofferson, Sunday Morning Comin' Down, 1970.
Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head.
Johnny Cash made this famous, but Kris Kristofferson wrote it. And both versions are masterpieces of country songwriting. The song is about a hungover, lonely man walking through Sunday morning streets, watching families go to church, feeling completely disconnected from normal life. What makes this genius is the specificity, the imagery. On the Sunday morning sidewalks, wishing Lord that I was stoned, is so vivid you can see it, smell it, feel it. The loneliness isn't abstract. It's concrete, situational, observed. And Kris delivers it with this weathered talk-singing voice that sounds like he's lived every word. Modern country doesn't do this kind of literary songwriting anymore. We get songs with generic imagery, cold beer on a hot day, back roads and bonfires, tan legs and cut-off jeans. That could apply to anyone, anywhere. They're designed to be relatable in the broadest possible sense, which ironically makes them less relatable because they're not about anything specific. Kris Kristofferson was a Rhodes Scholar, a helicopter pilot, a janitor at a recording studio, and a songwriter who brought a literary sensibility to country music. He wrote like a poet. Modern country is written by teams of professional songwriters in Nashville who are trying to replicate what worked last year. There's no comparison. Number 3, Merle Haggard, Mama Tried, 1968.
First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing.
Merle Haggard spent time in San Quentin prison, and he wrote from that experience with unflinching honesty. Mama Tried is about a man looking back on his life, acknowledging that his mother did everything she could to raise him right, but he still ended up in prison. It's a song about personal responsibility, about regret, about loving someone even when you've disappointed them. The instrumentation is classic Bakersfield sound, twangy Telecaster guitars, prominent drums, a driving rhythm. It's rockier than the Nashville sound, more energetic, but still unmistakably country. And Merle's voice has this working-class authenticity that you can't fake. What separates this from modern country? Well, modern country doesn't really do songs about prison or criminal life unless it's somehow romantic or rebellious. We get songs about being an outlaw who drinks too much or drives too fast, but not songs about actual consequences, actual prison time, actual regret. Modern country wants the aesthetic of working-class struggle without the reality of it. Also, the emotional complexity here. Loving your mother, knowing she tried her best but still ending up a failure, is too nuanced for modern country. We like our emotions simple, happy, sad, angry, horny. This song is all of those things at once, and that's too complicated for a 3-minute radio single. Number 2, John Prine, Sam Stone, 1971.
Sam Stone came home.
John Prine wasn't technically a country artist, he was more folk, but he was embraced by the country community, and this song is as country as it gets in spirit. It's about a Vietnam War veteran who comes home with PTSD, gets addicted to morphine, and eventually dies of an overdose, leaving his family devastated. The refrain, which I won't quote directly, is one of the most heartbreaking in all of American music. John Prine sings it with this matter-of-fact sadness that makes it even more devastating. The song doesn't sensationalize, doesn't moralize, doesn't offer easy answers. It just tells you what happened and lets you sit with it. This song would never get played on country radio today. Never. It's too dark, too politically charged. War, drugs, PTSD, too real. Modern country wants to support the troops in an abstract, patriotic way, but it doesn't want to deal with the reality of what war does to people. We get songs about proud to be an American, but not songs about veterans struggling with addiction and mental health. John Prine's songwriting is also on a completely different level than what passes for country songwriting today. Every line in Sam Stone is carefully crafted, poetic, devastating. Modern country lyrics are often interchangeable. You could swap verses between 5 different songs and no one would notice. Prine's songs are singular works of art. Number 1, Tammy Wynette, Divorce, 1968.
Our little boy is 4 years old.
I'm putting Tammy Wynette at number 1 because this song represents everything country music used to be that it isn't anymore. Emotionally complex, narratively sophisticated, and willing to tackle uncomfortable subjects with grace and heartbreak. The song is about a woman spelling out words like divorce and custody because she doesn't want her young child to understand what's happening to their family. It's simple in concept but devastating in execution. Tammy's voice, that pure emotional tone, sells every syllable. The production is classic Nashville, strings, backing vocals, but all in service of the story. What makes this the number 1 song that sounds nothing like today's music? It's the emotional maturity. This isn't about a breakup where someone did someone wrong and now there's anger or sadness. This is about the end of a family, the impact on a child, the complexity of adult relationships falling apart. Modern country doesn't do this. Modern country is emotionally adolescent. It's all about immediate feelings, personal grievances, simple narratives. Also, the structure. The song builds through verses, each one adding more detail, more pain, more specificity. There's no massive chorus, no hook designed to get stuck in your head. It's just a story, beautifully told, that trusts you to care about the people involved. When I listen to Divorce, I hear an entire genre of music that believed in its audience. It believed you would listen to a full 4-minute story about a difficult subject. It believed you wanted art, not just entertainment. It believed country music could be sophisticated and accessible at the same time. So there you have it, 10 country songs that sound nothing like what's on country radio today. And look, I get it. Music evolves, genres change, and there's no going back to 1968 or 1975, or even 2005. And honestly, we shouldn't want to go back entirely. Progress is good, evolution is natural, and some modern country is genuinely great. But here's what bothers me. We've lost something essential. We've lost the willingness to be weird, to be dark, to be complicated. We've lost the trust in storytelling, the commitment to craft, the belief that country music can be art and not just product. We've sanded off every rough edge, every regional accent, every strange musical choice that made country music distinctive. These 10 songs, from Porter Wagoner's Murder Ballad to Tammy Wynette's Spelling Lesson in Heartbreak, represent a time when country music was brave enough to be itself, when it was okay to be slow, to be sad, to be specific, when you could spend 4 minutes telling a story without worrying about whether it would work as a TikTok sound or a Spotify playlist filler. And maybe that's the real difference. These songs weren't designed to be anything other than themselves. They weren't trying to cross over to pop radio, weren't trying to appeal to 18 to 49-year-old demographics in coastal markets, weren't trying to launch a lifestyle brand or sell truck commercials. They were just songs. Great, weird, heartbreaking, honest songs. I started this video at a barbecue, confused about what country music had become. But whenever I feel that way, whenever the genre feels too homogeneous, too calculated, too safe, I come back to songs like these. They remind me what country music can be when it's not afraid to be itself. Because sometimes you need to hear something that sounds nothing like today's music to remember what music can really do.